over too? How's everybody doing? We're here for the pre-show for the 2020 King of the Hammers, and we are in Riverside, 4 Parts store. It's the first time we've been to this store. I'm seeing some glare. We probably are going to adjust those lights a little bit so it's not glaring off of the sign behind us, but we'll sort it out. Let's pan over and show the crowd we got standing here. They're here to watch us do funny, dumb stuff here. They'll do that. And while they're doing that, I also forgot, we had an intro for this thing because I've got Jay Calloway here. And Matt, I can't ever tell the two of you apart, actually.
Oh, come on.
Jay Calloway and Matt Howell have come to host with me. So what's that intro again?
One of these things is not like the others. One of these things doesn't belong. Can you tell which thing is not like the other by the time I finish this song?
Awesome. Okay, there we go. We have our first intro. There's our first glitch. So we're going to try to get through a bunch of information. Let me talk about some stuff to kind of start off, and then a little bit later we're going to bring on Ryan Thomas, who's our new president. You guys know we hired a new president. Jay, why don't you say a few things? You look a little nervous.
I just have to tell you, I am so excited to be here. Dave Cole called me up this weekend and said that he needed a celebrity guest, and I was honored to find out that I was the 28th phone call. So the 27 guys that he called before me, I want to thank them, and honestly, this is truly an honor. So thank you, Dave. Appreciate that.
And so the first guy I called was Matt. Matt Howell.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Pleasure to be here. Looking forward to it. Yeah.
You've been showing up for like the last 4 or 5 of these shows, last 3 or 4 of these shows.
Yeah, I think the first one I had a work thing going on out in the same place where you're hosting it, and I stopped in at the same time, and then just kept showing up after that. So
right on. Well, thanks for being here, both of you guys. Both traveled to come out, and I appreciate it. And I'm sure you have both have a lot to do getting ready to race. You guys are both racing. You're racing 4,400 again this year, right?
Yep, 4,400.
And you're racing modified, I hear.
4510's coming back.
Fantastic. Great to hear. And so let's talk about some cool stuff. What we'll do to kind of break in, we'll kind of break things up. I'm going to go directly to UTVs, talk about the qualifying order for UTVs, how many people race it, and that kind of stuff. And then we'll break back out and talk about some new things into the season. We'll get Ryan up here. We'll just kind of break things up as we go along. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
very cool.
Good.
So I need you guys to help me. So to kind of, if you know anything about these guys, or if I'm skipping stuff, let me know so we can give everybody their shout out. So, UTVs, and we will sort it. So we're going to start off at 11 a.m. to qualify. I believe we have a 10 a.m. drivers meeting. And first off the line is going to be at 11 a.m. First off the line, new to our sport, but not new to racing, Wayne Matlock, Michael Lee.
Great guy.
You know Michael Lee? You're just talking.
He's a great guy.
Here we go, Dave. It's early for this.
Yeah, this is why he was 27. I mean, literally, we had the other guy that wore that Chinese
Wayne,
shirt.
sorry, buddy.
Heath Taylor, Garrison Calloway, William Eisenberg, Michael Snook, Matthew Mangan, Aaron Henry, Steve Robinson, Cameron Steele. Cameron's racing every race, and I'll say that every time I say his name.
Okay.
Cameron's racing every race.
Iron Man.
It's a big effort.
No, it's not Iron Man. Have you seen the shirt? It's not Iron Man.
Listen, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Cameron Steele, Robert Gott, Malcolm McKenzie, Crystal Palverdi. So already I've got Taco down.
That was big time.
So I'm already going to break off here for a second. We're in the first hour, and I've already called Wayne Matlock, and not that this gets difficult for me because I'm negating talking about people that who traditionally race Ultra 4, but the Ultra 4 class, I mean the UTV class is stocked. I mean there is, in the first hour, Wayne Matlock Cameron Steele, and Cristobal Parverdi. And we haven't even gotten to the 12th guy.
Sure. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Cristobal Parverdi race? So we watched him at Crandon. I think he won in short course. He won every single race he entered in the Midwest this year. Wow. Racing Pro Light. And anybody that's been down through turn 1 at Crandon, I saw him come around turn 1 at Crandon on 2 wheels, lift it up, and you know how your normal reaction would be start chopping the throttle and trying to figure out a way to get back to 4 wheels?
Yeah, right.
We were sitting right next to turn 1 right there, and he never lifted off the throttle.
Yeah.
Just stayed full throttle all the way around, biked it all the way around turn 1 at like 105
Nice.
miles an hour, whatever they're doing, set it back down and kept going in the lead and won the race. Nuts, insane.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
there's going to be a lot of names that we're going to be calling here that are very new to this sport, or to our version of the sport, and we'll see if they can stack up against the guys that know what they're doing. Chris Branton, Trey McKinley, Richard Farmer, and Brandon Sims, Grant Farwell, and Cody Curry. That rounds out the 11 o'clock hour. 12 o'clock, Kyle Cheney, Daniel Waller, Lauren Healy. He's been around a little bit. Aaron Clark,
Great
Joshua.
guy.
Great.
Sorry, Lauren. It's another great guy.
Thanks, Jay. Joshua Krasnick, he's well worth the price of admission, isn't he? Yes. Paul Kraut, Will Harris, Rodrigo Arriagada, Bailey Campbell. Go ahead, say it. I dare you to say great guy.
All right. Actually, I have a huge admiration for your daughter. I think that Bailey, you should be very proud. She's come a long way. That's definitely for sure.
The one thing that's not like the other is 2 of them have won Ultra 4 races.
Wow.
Man. Okay.
Wow. We have hecklers.
For the Flames.
Is that new? I don't remember that in previous years.
I do not remember hecklers, but it was just pointed out that the one difference was, if you didn't hear it, 2 of us have won.
No, I think they heard it. Yeah. I think they heard it.
One of them is not.
Yeah.
Huh. Bailey Campbell, Joshua Smith, Brandon Miller, Chip McLaughlin.
There you go.
Another 4400 guy racing UTVs. Lance Chernos.
Chip. Funny story about Chip, not to get you guys off pace, but I want to congratulate Chip for winning the Triple Crown last year. He was the first driver to actually DNF the main event, DNF qualifying, and DNF the drivers meeting. So it was a that was Chip.
Meeting.
He was the triple.
Wow.
It's awesome.
That's a Texas team now.
Sorry, Chip.
Lance Chernos, Jeff McKinley, another 4400 guy. Cody Miller, Craig Sanislow, David Newell, Logan Gastel, he's been racing with us for a while. Michael Faltz, Logan Goodall, he's been racing with us for quite a bit. 1 o'clock time frame. And if you haven't gotten it, let me break down. I think it's 20 cars per hour I have. Let me look at my notes here. I think I had 20 cars per hour. So from a qualifying perspective, all you have to do is show up for your hour, show up 15 minutes to your segment, qualify your time, and get about along with the rest of your day. So between the registration process being the same as last year, where you can just come to the front gate tent, register and be done, and then be qualifying for 1 hour, you have a lot of time for yourself and not having to be sitting in line and waiting around. Hopefully that works out. 1 o'clock, Michael Sawyer, John Duckworth, former national champion with us, Chris Barnett, Caden Wells, Joshua Chapman, Marcos Gomez. Didn't know he was racing UTVs, that's cool. Devin Amond, Darren Fretz, Brett Weiler, Nathan Wolf, James Cantrell, Paul Hart, Brent Zimmerman, Randy Jelliff, Tanner Stevens, Robert Van Beekum, Chase Caprera, Philon Parpotis, he's coming over from England racing.
Oh, nice.
I think he bought a Can-Am over here. Mark Welch, Shannon Campbell. 2 o'clock segment. Raul Gomez, Hunter Miller, Chris Holland, Shane Smith, Chris McDaniel, Zandy Willems, Mark Morosali, Carl Sinclair, Matthew Torney, Gerald Berzer, Levi Mettenzer, Anthony McCabe, Casey Curry, who's evidently, I didn't check today, but he was in the top 3 at Dakar, so good for anybody. He's first place right now? First in class in UTVs.
Congrats.
Keep it up, Casey. Keep it up. JP Gomez, Brock Hager, he was one of the best Class 10 and now spec truck drivers in desert racing. Rob Smith, Robert Lunsford, Matthew Peterson, Jason Weller, also a short course guy, and Daniel Hearn. The 3 o'clock segment. This one's a little shorter because we're leaving time to make up for broken cars. Luis Leon Gonzalez, Justin Cochran, Chris Gornall, Elliot Watson, Chad Jesse, Tristan Leon Gonzalez, Patrick Larabaro, Austin Weiland, and your Power Hour, 20 cars in the Power Hour. Sarah Price, Bryce Menzies, Kristen Matlock, Dustin Jones, Mitch Guthrie Sr., Mitch Guthrie Jr., Johnny Greaves and CJ Greaves, and Waylon Campbell start the Power Hour. Then you have Phil Blurton, Ronnie Anderson, Rodrigo Ampudia. And then we have our top 10, what I did was top 10 in UTVs, top 10 in 4400s, and top 5 in Legends, stock, and modified based upon their series performance in 2019, got you in the Power Hour, plus some subjective ones if it made sense. So the finishing out the Power Hour, Daniel Markley, Jacob Versey, Justin Barth, Cole Clark, Scott Lesage, Ben Jones, Dustin Robbins, and Travis Zollinger. And I have Nathan Zollinger here, and I got a call into Travis. I might have that wrong. If that's wrong, then Nathan will be out because I'm not sure if that's his kid, or does anybody know that? No. It's not his kid? I don't think so. It's just Travis. It's just Travis Racing, right? So maybe Nathan's his first legal name, and when the credit cards come through or something like that, I don't know. But Travis, correct me on that if you're watching. Send us a text, and we'll sort it out. That's UTVs.
How big is this? Well, I was just curious. It seems like this is the fastest growing class. How does this
100,
compare?
120 cars racing registered right now. That'll probably be more like 130 by the time we go. And 107 of them are registered to qualify. So almost all of them are qualifying.
Biggest class of the race, of the event?
Biggest class of the race, yes. We're pushing like 440 some odd competitors right now. So, yeah, not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
It gives a lot of guys a lot of opportunity to pre-run at race pace in a UTV before they get to whatever their respective class is. So some of these guys that are racing 4400 will get to see it in a UTV and maybe even another class. But
well, it's a good opportunity for us to at least start the beginning of the schedule. We call it the Can-Am kickoff weekend. So it's basically all wrapped around the Can-Am and the UTV race. But we're actually going to open qualifying a little bit early, Thursday at noon now, as opposed to Friday at 8 a.m. So Thursday at noon, you can get maps, you can get qualifying. Sorry, Tony, I know BLM didn't put the maps up this year, so I guess you can't go out there early. Yeah. What's really messed up about that, I didn't know you did that until I found out my kid used to do that as well. Because everybody thinks Bailey gets all the courses, but I don't tell him anything. I literally kick him out of the house when we talk about course stuff. And he's like, man, they didn't put BLM map up this year. I'm like, what? Turns out I guess they did, and you were one of those guys too, huh? Gerald, you've got a grin on your face. Do you do that as well?
Didn't know that last year.
Okay. So.
They posted the BLM office for Barstow, don't they? You've got to go to Barstow to see it, though. They won't post it online anymore. You have to go to the BLM office. No problem. Haven't seen it. I just know.
I see a lot of strategic faces. Look at these expressions.
7 people just left and went to Barstow.
Yeah.
I'm going to give some course hints here a little bit later, but so the kickoff weekend, the Can-Am kickoff weekend, Thursday pre-running starts at 12 o'clock. Friday, pre-running full course, 9 a.m. tech opens, all new cars need to be teched. Saturday, pre-running full course. You have your qualifying times that I just mentioned. All of this will be online tonight. We have a mandatory driver's meeting at 10 a.m. for the UTVs, 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. qualifying. And then Sunday morning, 8 a.m., the Can-Am UTV race presented by HCR starts, 4 p.m. ending, Sunday afternoon. So that's our start of the afternoon. Let's take a break from schedule, take a break from this stuff. I'm going to call somebody up, do a little bit of side business on this real quick. We made an announcement about a month ago that we were making some changes to our organization. We had Jeremy Dickinson doing this for a long time, friend of yours, really good friend of yours,
Really
good friend of mine. No, everybody's friends with Jay. Jeremy had decided to go to do some different challenges, and we had been planning for a while. Basically, I've been trying to figure out a way, actually, with some tutoring from you. We talked about some business stuff once in a while, about how to make the business more scalable, how to be prepared for growth, how to just be better in general. And part of that was just getting the best people we could in the organization to help lead us. And also for business continuity. I mean, I've been sick once. Everybody thinks I'm sick again. I'm not. I'm 100% healthy. But I wanted to have a
Sorry.
Jesus. I wanted to have a contingency plan to make sure the business is in the best place. I mean, you guys have all spent a lot of money to go racing. Their sponsors have invested. You guys have invested time and effort and everything else. If I don't invest in the time to try to make the business better, then I'm not doing you guys a service. So in what we did, we hired Ryan Thomas to be the president of the company. Ryan, why don't you come on up here? Ryan Thomas is in the building right now. I'll give a basic introduction because you won't brag on yourself, but as you kick over the table, which would kind of ruin all the bragging. You have a background both in off-road and in business and in racing. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself and say hi to the Ultra 4 community.
Well, hello to the Ultra 4 community. Warm welcome I've received. It's been really cool to get to meet people that I haven't met before, that we all kind of share something in common, and that's making dust. But background is definitely all in and around all things off-road. Grew up in a family that we owned a company called Cheneth Racing Products, and was very fortunate to be involved very young, cutting tubing and learning how to MIG weld. Was then able to go racing and did that for about a decade, and then I spent a decade living in Baja running a company called Wide Open Adventures. And I spent the last 5 years working for Jackson Motorsports Group and working with BF Goodrich and Michelin Tires. So I'm excited about the opportunity to be here and help Dave and the crew at Ultra 4, like you said, prepare the company to move forward. And it's an amazing organization already with a lot of soul, and that's generally what attracted me. Seeing a group of guys that and girls that are as committed to the sport and the industry as they are, and it's a you guys all walk the walk. It's not just event weekend that you're out there doing what you love. You guys are out there doing it week in and week out, and I can identify with that. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Ryan. I'm excited. I'm really happy. It's already been in the first. We've been unofficially working like kind of after hours for the last month or so, just kind of getting our feet wet, and then obviously a bunch going on this month, getting ready for KOH, and it's been a pleasure working with you. I'm looking forward to the adventures ahead and where we're going to go and doing cool stuff. So thanks for coming aboard.
Likewise, yeah, and thanks for having me.
Cheers. Now get off. See ya.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, let's get into the EMC race. We'll do EMC qualifying order. We'll talk about shootout. We'll talk about where the shootout. We're going to move the shootout. We'll come back to that in here in a second about shootout.
Okay.
And
yeah, I'm excited to hear about the EMC race personally.
You guys having any obstacles for the EMC race this year, or is it just another? It's the bypass. Is that?
He's taking deep digs here. He's taking deep digs.
No, I'm asking for the people want to know.
What do you want to know, Jay?
The live show for adding obstacles this year to the EMC race.
Yes, there's obstacles. There's rocks involved.
All right.
They will be driving on all of the trails, actually.
So I'm curious of this. The last 2 years, is that right, Gerald? We raced the same course as the others. It's just one lap shy.
Yep.
Is that a hint you can give for?
I can tell you that you will run lap 1 and lap 2 of the 4400 course in modified and legends.
Okay.
I believe there is maybe one bypass for stock, maybe.
Oh wow. Okay. Because historically, stock has had several bypasses.
Yeah.
For some of the harder stuff.
Time to step it up.
Okay.
It's going to be hard.
Okay.
There's 4 new courses, 4 new trails that you haven't been on before.
Yeah.
I would say 2 of them have significant consequences, and 2 of them are just different for you.
Yeah.
They're going to be fun, but they're not tear you up. They're just more, hey, we haven't gone this way before, instead of going the same thing we've always done.
Okay.
I know that we've never done this loop in this direction. Like, we've done this loop in this direction. You can't really get around it. I mean, everybody knows we're going to go down back door. That's a fact. You can't get around it. We went up it for the past couple of years, so now we got to go down it.
Sure.
But everything else is different, like really different. So
Leading up to the EMC, can you clarify for everyone on what days you can pre-run?
sure.
I know you said Saturday.
You can pre-run all day. You can pre-run after 12 o'clock on Thursday. You can pre-run all day Friday, all day Saturday minus the short course. You cannot pre-run on Sunday at all until after the UTV race is completely over, like 6 p.m. When it ends at 4, you guys can go out around 6.
Okay.
You can pre-run all day Monday minus the short course. You can pre-run and minus one trail because where the shootout's at, which I'll tell you later where the shootout's at.
That's on Monday?
That's on Monday. And you can pre-run all day Tuesday, same thing, minus the short course. And then pre-running is basically over.
Got it.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah. So let's talk about EMC, qualifying order. What I did was I took, there was a few guys in the stock class that wanted to qualify, a handful. The ones that just had power hour went to the power hour. The ones that were not are going to qualify off the bat, starting off in the morning. We're going to start at 9 a.m. on Monday morning qualifying. It appears, let me check here. Yeah, I do have an 8 a.m. drivers meeting for the EMC, and we will go directly to qualifying then at 9 a.m. So, 9 a.m., 15 cars in a group. Thomas Biddle, Kenneth Carter, Albert Contreras. Albert's here. Albert, why don't you come up and sit with us so you can help us out with anybody in the class? Last year's Sportsman of the Year, right?
Excuse me?
You last 2018 Sportsman of the Year?
Yes, 2018 Sportsman of the Year.
Everybody, Albert Contreras.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Albert, you took a really bad tumble at Ridgecrest.
I sure did. That was a hard roll I've ever been in my vehicle. I pushed that car to the limit. I mean, I'm really lucky to be here today, and I thank God for all the safety gear that you made us have in our vehicles, and that thing did all its job. So
Cool.
happy to be here.
What are you racing? You're racing the same Jeep? Did you obviously cut the cage off?
Got brand new cage, brand new body. I'm not reinventing the wheel, just putting it back together.
All right.
So it's a proven car, championship car.
Yeah. So, love to see you race, man. So you'll be third off the line on 9 o'clock on Monday morning.
Awesome.
Thomas Cornelius, Joseph Edmonds, and Josh Pat. Josh Pat hasn't been out with us in quite a long time. Good to see. Nate Williams, and that ends the stock class qualifying in the morning. We have stock class. We had 27 cars, and 4 of them decided to qualify. So 27 in the stock class. Good field. 4,500, we had 28 cars, 27 of which are going to qualify, and 4,800, 65, and 55 are qualifying. So most of the Legends class will qualify. What's the biggest challenge? What's the hardest obstacle, single obstacle in a given direction in a stock class car at the Hammers?
I think the whole race is a whole obstacle. You just never know. That course changes every day. As soon as people go through that course, everything changes. So everything is a challenge in that race course. I mean, you change it up for us every year, and you could go around different ways, but it's always going to be a tough race. And I think backdoor is one of the nicest places to be at, because you have a whole crowd right there watching you. So everybody's kind of nervous and not going to wreck it or roll it or whatever, but maybe backdoor.
Right on. One of the McNamara's that I could never tell apart just shouted out from the back that traffic is the hardest obstacle.
Yeah, traffic is always the hardest obstacle for us.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. We're going to get a 4,500 guy up here real quick.
Ooh, thank you guys.
Hey, who's here 4,500? Any 4,500 driver? Dan Fresh, come on up here. Anybody under 4,500s?
I'm already up here.
Oh, yeah. So between the two of you, give me some stuff.
This is a nice lineup, yeah. I'm just glad he's bringing the car back. I'd heard rumors that they're scanning the car and taking some digital x-rays and taking it down. And what's that?
That's
and
all
you just put
done.
it back together, throw it back together and race one more? I love it. I'm glad.
This is it. This is it.
I've heard
this is the last time I'm racing
this
this car.
Every year I've raced, I heard this is it. This is the last car for this. The last race. Sorry, Dave.
Hi, Dan.
How you doing, Dave?
How was your summer? Aside from Ultra 4 racing, what did you do besides winning a score championship?
I did a lot of racing with you, actually.
It was a lot of fun.
I had a great time. No, we had a really good year in 2019. I'm looking forward to 2020. See
Right
what
on,
we can
man.
do.
Fantastic. Well, if you got any insight to any of your competitors here, we'd love to hear it. We're starting off, we're in the 9 o'clock hour, 8th off the line, Mackenzie Armstrong, 45:10, Matt Howell, Jesse Balter, John Matthews, Kenneth Goodall, Joey Simeone, Tony Perez, Rick Lavezzo. Last off the line at the 9 o'clock hour, 10 o'clock hour, Justin Hall, Jimmy Jack, Travis Riley Sr., Peter Fierro, Joseph Machier, John Williams, Michael Miller, Dwayne Garrettson. Thanks for all the input you're giving us here.
You know what? You're on a roll, and I just want to keep it going. You sound
you did
great.
have a flow going. I was,
Yeah.
so I am kind of surprised, and I'm glad to see Jimmy Jack's coming back because he was sandbagging his entry there for a little while.
Was he?
Yeah, I looked. and
Yeah?
He was not registered as of like 5 days ago. So
It's gonna be a good shootout. Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
William Young and Jeremy Montenegro round out the non-Power Hour 4,500 guys. So, how about for you in a modified car versus an Ultra 4, a 4,400 car? I screw that up all the time. A 4,400 car. What obstacle stands out that's difficult? What's difficult about the course for you?
You know, at any time, last year, Spooners bit me.
Yeah.
Going down Spooners. Spooners is tough. That's a tough. Even though if hopefully we go down, I have no
What's
idea.
harder, going down or going up it?
I think going up it is yeah.
That's a
tough.
bummer.
You know what? I have got going down at wired right now though. So thanks.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be great at recovery then.
Yeah, that's good, Dave. Thanks.
You're
never
welcome.
disappoint, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Cheers. Okay then.
So is that it?
You're free to go.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it.
What do we have from Legends class out there? We can bring you up. Come on up. You can come up. You're the only Legends representative we have here right now.
No, there's some legends.
Who do you got? Mike, get up here. Both of you can come on up here. Mike and Bailey, come on up here. So for representing the Legends class, and hopefully you guys will do a little better as far as giving us some insight to your competitors. We've got Bailey Cole and Mike Johnson. Mike's got it's a 6-cylinder or 4-cylinder?
4-cylinder.
Tell us about your car.
I have a 4-cylinder Ecotec that I blew up last weekend. So we're in the process of rebuilding it right now, and it's a little
Light and nimble was the name of the game, right?
little 4-seater. Throw my kids in the back and then race KOH.
If I remember correctly, you've historically always been top 5-ish, right? You're always right there. What's your best finish?
Second.
Second. Nice. Who'd you finish second to?
It's always Gerald. So Savvy.
Savvy?
Yep.
Savvy races Legends?
Well, no, not Legends, but I was 4,500 back then.
Okay, 4,500 back. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Got it. I thought that was I didn't think about Savvy race Legends, do they? You have a Legends card, Gerald?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So 4,800 now, though, right?
Yep.
All right. Fantastic. And you're not racing 4,800 this year?
Sure.
You are racing? Oh, that's right. You are. So what are you doing?
I'm able to partner with Cam Steele in the Trent Feb car I raced last year. He's going to do the desert, and I'll do the rocks.
All right then.
Nice.
That'll be a cool team to watch then. So let's go to 4,800. 4,800. This is 11. This is at the 10 o'clock time slot. Tom Moore, Connor Foltz, Michael Turbino, Michael Stokes, Jonathan Terhune.
Terhune's not racing the whole race either.
Who's racing with Terhune?
Dawes.
Jonathan Dawes. Okay. Are they racing in Terhune's car or Dawes' new car?
No, Terhune's car.
Okay.
He doesn't like the first lap.
Patrick Beckwith, Levi Shirley, Dustin Sexton. Dustin Sexton's racing the Trent Fab car now, I think, right?
He is.
Brad Lovell in the venerable Ford Ranger.
And that car, yeah, I was gonna say that car just gets it.
That's
raw.
the
It's gonna be one of the oldest cars out there.
Yep, and actually we switch up to the 11 o'clock hour at Patrick Beckwith. We have Levi Shirley, Dustin Sexton, Brad Lovell at 11 o'clock, Steven Adams, Cameron Steele. So that's your time slot. I'm not sure, you guys got to figure out who's qualifying, but the driver of record has to qualify. Justin Barth, Michael London, Eric Wickley, Barry Smethurst. I believe he's coming from Australia, right? Isn't Barry from Australia? Someone can help correct me on that. Don Ratke, Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson, you're going to be at the 11 o'clock hour, 12th in line. Sean Leonardini, John Holtzman, Chris Brown, round out 11 o'clock. From 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, we will be doing a little television production thing, so we're going to break on the short course, give you guys a gap. There's a good gap in time there, and we're going to be shooting a television show for Super Jeeps. Is that right, Gerald?
Sounds like it.
Okay, so Super Jeeps is going to be doing something from 12 to 2 on the short course. So there'll be action for the spectators, but you guys will have a gap in the qualifying time, which doesn't really affect anybody because you have your time. So moving on to the 2 o'clock hour, we have Scott Morse and Stephen Moore, Sean Ratchke, Frank Bushman, Curtis Harriman, Jody Ford, Stephen Graff, Eric Brinker, Craig Allen, Trevor Foltz, Douglas Andrew Boos, Cade Rod, and Arturo Soria, and Lyndon Shepard, Richard Fenton. That is the 2 o'clock hour.
Soria's going to send it.
Soria has been stepping up his game, obliterating that poor spec car. Arthur Stein, this is the 3 o'clock hour. Arthur Stein, Christian Thordarson, Earl Christie, Cody Young, Ross Glaive, Logan Goodall again, Joshua Ebel, Evan Jesse, Jeff Hotamaki, Anthony Areola,
Look at me.
Buddy Carlton,
Great guy.
Kyle Wickham, Chance Holloman, Jace Nix, Gregory Neff, Scott Foley. And that ends our 3 o'clock time. And then we go into the power hour. And this is mixed between 46, 45, and 48. So your power hour is, let me get this right here. John Schaefer, Dawson Allington, John Snell, Jesse Oliver, Cody Sinclair, Sean Rance, John Grounds, Casey Gilbert, Jeremy Jones, David Hartman, Andrew Gorman. I think I got this wrong in here someplace, but somehow I've got, this can't be right. I think I've messed up a little bit, but I've got Dan Fresh. So I think I've messed up a couple times here. Somewhere in here I got TJ Hart, Rob Hemmingson, Kevin Jones, Michael Husto, and Atanas Milahov. I will get your times right and get you where you belong. It looks like I missed your hour of qualification, but I'll get it right. I apologize. We were doing this just before the show. I'll fix that. So there's our 4800. There's our EMC qualifying.
Who qualifies on the pole?
I don't preset that, contrary to popular belief.
Who do you guys think?
I would say on the pole, no doubt, Casey Gilbert. No doubt. Oh,
No doubt?
No doubt, Casey Gilbert. Sorry.
I would
You still have a
probably-
ride home, kid, but
How many total, Dave?
you had,
Was it 140, 150?
no, it's not that many at all. There is 55, 60, 120 in the EMC race as well. I apologize back there. We're doing our best to put on a good show, but can you just help us out? So 120 of which it looks like 86 are qualifying. Any other thing? I got any other advice from the legend side? I'm looking for the hardest obstacle, like the actual. Like I'm thinking, for me, driving the hammers, I hate the Z above the Z turn on claw hammer. I've never had the right. I've always kind of had longer cars, and getting over that breakover after the Z turn always sucks for me. So, what's that?
Rocks fell in the Z-turn. It's hard right now.
It's harder. Hey, can you guys zoom out the camera so they're actually in the camera, please? Yeah. Okay, because I'm looking at that, and the only thing that's on it is my ugly face.
They're all in the shot.
Okay, then I'll shut up.
I hate going up Chocolate Thunder with everybody there.
You hate going up Chocolate Thunder with everybody, with the fans watching.
Always.
Is it the pressure?
Yep. It's the
Yeah.
worst.
Can you hear the crowd on this?
Oh, I can hear my wife screaming every time. Every time.
Is it a subliminal thing, and it's
Oh,
just
no,
that
you can,
common?
You can hear. If you go back when I roll up, you'll hear it every time.
Really?
Oh, and I can hear it every time. Helmets on, everything.
All right.
So it's a good time.
Bailey, what's your least favorite obstacle to drive up?
Back door is always a pain, just getting right on line because it's so easy to just mess it up.
The second waterfall or the first?
Going up, probably the second because you pretty much winch the first one, but going down the first waterfall, just because there's everybody there, and if you screw up, you're that guy. It's never fun
It's
to be
another
that
pressure
guy.
moment.
Yeah.
A lot of attention.
Fair enough. You've been uncharacteristic. I mean, this is literally the longest I've ever heard you quiet, ever.
You know, I didn't want to say anything, but because, you know, you mentioned Casey Gilbert, he's such a humble guy, but he is, if you guys heard all the rain on the lake bed, you know, it is a true lake bed right now. So Casey actually, and he's probably embarrassed I'm mentioning it, but he has a side company. It's Gilbert Sandbags, and what he's doing is, you know, he's got the best sandbags in his class, and he's bringing these sandbags to help out with all the water. So it's, you know, Gilbert Sandbags is coming, and it's really, you know, you guys should really give him a hand. He's doing a lot to help out everyone out there. So we just thank you, Casey. Appreciate that, buddy. Thank you for giving me a chance.
Well done. Thank you.
You did
Thank you,
kind of-
gentlemen. Mike, Bailey, anything? What do you want to say? Bailey, what if you're not racing Legends class? What are you racing?
4400.
In what?
A Trent Fab machine.
A Trent Fab machine. Okay. So that's Monday qualifying. Monday evening, we're doing the shootout again. The Holly EFI. I'm going to screw all this up. I'll make it all wrong. But
What time is that?
that, I believe, let me look at my schedule here. Let me look at my schedule. The Holly EFI shootout presented by KMC. It's not. Actually, it's presented by Method, King Shocks, and ASC, American Sports Canopies. It's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And this is a good time to talk about that. Monday night would be the first. Anybody that's hasn't heard, we're going to have a different feature this year. We're going to have music playing at the event. So Monster has been kind enough to invest in bringing us a legitimate, full-on festival-type stage. It'll be where the big tent used to be. So remember where the driver tent used to be is now the stage. It takes up the entire 10,000 square feet for a stage. Big. And the first night after the shootout, which will be over at by Chocolate Thunder on Idle Issues, which is the trail you guys come down before you go up Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah, right next to the hill, the road.
Right next to that road. They won't be on the road. Where the Motos used to come up. So where the Motos used to go up there, you started up that a while back. That will be the shootout.
That'd be cool.
And I've never seen anybody just successfully just crawl up it. We've never been able to put it in the race because it's just been too hard. So it's going to be a good show for the shootout. But after the shootout, directly after the shootout, we will be back in town at the Monster Energy stage, and we're going to have a tribute band that night, and that'll be Red Hot Chili. I don't remember the name of the band, but it's Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute band, and we're going to play some music and hang out, and hope you guys enjoy it.
That'd be a good time. Very cool.
Yeah. So that would be Monday. Now we're moving into Tuesday. So Tuesday is still pre-running day. It's also the qualifying for 4WP qualifying for 4400s. Let me pull up here and for shootout. So we always mess this up because SRS and Clyde brings his whole gaggle of guys, all his top guys come out, but that have just registered through the site from the West Coast. I have Jason Bartram, Steve Cobb, Julian Garduno, Kyle Hathaway, Corey Hines, Chris Kaufman, Paul Passian, Aaron Patrick, Jason Reeves, Toby Stacy, William Stewart, and Brian Trempy. And I'm fairly positive that Cody Wagner is also going to bring his rock crawler to try to go after it. Are you going to do something again, McKinley? Where are you at?
Why
Why not? All right, Jeff
there's two
McKinley.
more.
So I heard something about if you enter, you automatically win everything you enter. Is that what you said earlier? Happened last year. 2019. That might not carry over to 2020. But this will be the first time in your crawler in 2020, right? Well, we'll find out if the streak continues. All right, good to hear, man. That's Jeff McKinley, everybody. So let's move over to the 4,400 qualifying order. One second, bear with me.
Dave, while you're looking that up, is there a minimum requirement for LED lights to do the Monday night shootout?
There is not a minimum requirement.
So there's a couple of you guys that should help out. No, you know, like the whip antennas. You were there.
Why are you pulling me into this?
Wait, do you like the whip antennas? Does that make you happy?
I just thought, you know, it seemed like there were so many in the shootout in years past that it was.
Oh, like a mandatory requirement, like it's a tech requirement.
Just trying to clarify, you know, for everyone out there watching.
It's kind of like hair gel.
Okay.
It's completely useless, but people do it sometimes.
I
think you got him on
But
that.
they usually
That was a
what
good
it comes down to is they, just like hair gel, they overcompensate for lack of performance with the addition of LED lights and hair gel.
That doesn't make sense because I use a lot of hair gel. That doesn't. Just get another swallow of water over here.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to do qualifying for 4,400. We're doing 15 cars per group. It looks like for some reason I only have 14 in the first one. I think I remember why. But averaging 15 per group, starting at 9 a.m. First off the line, Kevin Porterfield, Matt Neiman, Chris Hicks, Jason Blanton, Patrick Peterson, Michael Justice, Matt Thorson, Don Fisher. He's got a new car. Who's our 4,400 driver? Tony Pellegrino. You're a 4,400 driver. Now, come on up here, Tony. Tony Pellegrino is coming out of retirement.
Oh, jeez.
Everybody knows Tony from Gen Right. And you're racing your Jeep in 4,400.
I'm racing my Jeep, yeah. We've pre-run the course every year in it, and I just figure it does it every year. Why not go for it?
Yeah.
So.
All right. There's that.
My son's the big dog, so I can just take the back seat. So.
I think you're going to do fine. I'm predicting a top 20 actually.
Well, like I said, you know, if Brian Crofts can do it in low range. I'm going to predict
a top 30.
Okay. I'm just going for a finish.
Finish 20th. You still got to be moving.
Right.
Like fast.
Right.
In the daylight.
But after you get about 20th, then the attrition kicks in, and everybody after 20th is usually just fighting for that finish.
Right.
So, and that's where if you keep chugging along, you're right there.
Good news is I've finished a lot of times.
Yeah,
so
you have.
I know what it takes.
Yeah, you finished top 5 several times, haven't you?
Yeah.
How many times you finished top 5?
I don't know, handful.
Handful?
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Well, Don Fisher, Chad Owens, Michael Bergman, Kenneth Goodall, Matt Turbino, and Casey Curry in the 9 a.m. hour. 10 a.m. Oh, sorry. One more 9 a.m. That would be David Oliver. And then we have Ian Contigas at 10 a.m. Jordan Pellegrino.
Oh, early.
Second off at 10 a.m. Rick Waterbury, Darian Gomez, Bailey Cole. I swear this is random. Everybody that saw me throwing this together back there, it was just thrown together super fast. But in that 10 a.m. hour, and this is the first time I actually read it, almost back to back, you've got Jordan, Darian, and Bailey.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That'll be kind of cool.
That's cool.
So, oh, wait a minute. I spoke too fast because right after Bailey Cole is Tony Pellegrino.
Oh,
so,
okay.
There you go. So you and Jordan both going off in the 10 a.m. hour.
Get it out of the way.
Yep.
I like it.
Brian McVeigh, Jeff McKinley, Randy Slauson, former King, Edwin Abb, FC Edwin's here, Brendan Thompson, Chip McLaughlin. Chip wanted me to remind everybody that everybody get on social media and wish JT Taylor happy birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Today?
That's right.
Yeah, today's his birthday.
Wow, all right.
Yes. So happy birthday to JT.
Happy birthday, JT.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Chip McLaughlin. I think I just lost the race director. Probably. Ryan, you might be want to help wanted ads out. We're going to need a race director, I think. Where'd Ryan go? Chip McLaughlin, Curtis Warner. Curtis Warner's coming back from Canada. Remember Curtis?
That's cool.
Isn't Curtis part of the Zucchini Brothers?
Zucchini Brothers, and he's the guy that drove backwards on course, sitting on the hood for 7 miles
If-
back in 2011 or 2012.
If only we were doing an epic moments, and if only that was a top 10 epic moment.
I'm really surprised I put that on.
Well, too bad you weren't the one voting, and we actually do know what made it. Well, you did vote. I think you had some votes on there, didn't you, Chris?
You did.
Curtis Warner, Quentin Hilburn, 15th off the line in the 10 a.m. spot, 11 a.m. spot. Brett Harrell, Eric Blaze, Joseph Hutchins, Chris May, Brian Caprera. Well, I've screwed this up. I think this will probably change, and he'll probably move to the Power Hour, but I got this Jason Skur? I think he's in the Power Hour.
I think he's in the Power Hour.
Again, I just threw this together, and I think I screwed it up, but I think this Jason Skur guy is going to move to the Power Hour. Nathan Geese, Eric Wicks, Eric Foster, Evan Berman, Tim Hooper, Darren Henke, Eric Miramon, and Dan Fresh in the 11 a.m. time slot. We are skipping the 12 time slot for lunch, and also, I believe, is Sean here? Sean Kepler? Sean Kepler, are you still here? We were planning, and it's on the schedule for us to do a Jump Champs race. Midday on Thursday. It'd only take an hour. It'd be kind of like a halftime show. Anybody hasn't seen Jump Champs?
What is a dump?
Jump Champs is like, you ever Brett Wilkie, the guy that bug thing, and they just launch it forever?
Yeah.
We'll be having the jump that you'll be racing over. They'll be seeing who can set the longest jump.
Somebody will break something. It'll be good.
It may happen.
That'll be good.
Hopefully they don't break themselves.
There's a lot of fast guys you've already named and we're not at Power Hour.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Interested to see who makes that up.
Joey Weber, 1 o'clock. John Hall, Michael Ersman, George Pronesti, Sam Collins, Rusty Blyler, Big B, Sean Rance, John Webb. John Webb is driving a IFS car now. With speakers, of course. Daryl Krebsbeck, Jaron Gunter, another new car. He's driving a UFO car, I believe. Damon Hopper, Michael Heston, Dan Wyrick, Scooby Fegans. This will be the year he finishes.
Yeah.
2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Jade Wickham, Matt Burkett, Greg Adler, Corey Johnson, Jay Calloway.
There he is.
It's the 2 o'clock Power Hour.
This is the 2 o'clock Power. It's kind of like Power Hour Light.
It's kind of a big deal, actually. So.
It's power. It's the alternate Power Hour.
It's before the sun is really in your eyes.
I don't know why it says the special kids right there.
Oh, geez.
Well,
but I'm honored to be a part of it anyway.
Ironically, special kids, Zandy Willems is right after you. Now, Zandy Newton, last year rookie, but has been tearing it up. Chris Wicks, Cody Addington, Gregory Stearns. I have a feeling that's actually, no, it's not. Well, there's a Kevin Stearns right down there. So Gregory Stearns, and then Brett Gegerborough in the 2 o'clock Power Hour, or the 2 o'clock non-special kids Power Hour, 11th off.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
Is the qualifying course same?
Well, for all classes?
Or in the same area that we've always qualified?
It's going to be in the same footprint, but I'm looking for a different rock obstacle. So it's kind of hard. It'll always be in that same footprint.
It's a good spot.
Yep, it's a good spot. I can lock it down.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is we run all of qualifying with like 4 people.
Yeah.
BLM's really happy with that. It's kind of sterile. It's secure and everything. But we've got some changes. I've got to figure out a good rock obstacle.
Okay.
I really thought about possibly sending you off that rock, the Andrew McLaughlin rock.
The big one. Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to do that. Maybe up it.
Oh.
No, I would not do that. That'd be dumb. Bernd Schaefer. Bernd Schaefer's coming from Germany.
Oh.
Shabs Piercy's coming from England.
And
they randomly showed up next to each other, honestly, because I forgot to even separate them.
5 countries you've named.
Germany and
so far throughout UTV to now. 5 countries. That's exciting. I think that's really cool.
Have you really kept track of that?
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I know we have Inaki from Spain. We have Shabs from England. We have.
Have you even named Spain yet? I don't think so.
I haven't named Inaki's name yet. No.
Australia, Canada.
We have
Germany, Spain.
Australia. We have Canada. We have. I believe we have Mexico. I know we have Mexico.
United States.
The United States is represented. Yes.
Pretty well.
And Texas. Yes. Texas is represented.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I believe we have a bike rider from Russia. Is that correct? We have a bike rider from Russia.
In King of Motos.
So yeah, for King of the Motos.
Nice.
Okay, so there you go. That's our first competitor from Russia. Even racing in Europe, we didn't have a racer from Russia. So
That's cool.
all right. Still back at the 3 o'clock time hour. We had Randy Watson, and then Jason Shipman, who was one of my favorite to see race. I love watching Shipman race, and love racing against him down in Nora.
Let me say something about Jason Shipman real quick. We competed in a race together a few years ago that he won, and his podium speech was he got up in front of everyone, was talking about his history in desert, and he thanked all of us for being so nice and getting out of his way. He said in desert racing, no one gets out of the way, he has to push everyone, but Ultra 4 guys were so nice to get out of his way so he could win. So that's a true story.
That's cool.
But great guy. Very fast driver.
I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or if he's...
That's a true story.
I believe it's a true story.
He's also a great guy.
Okay. Power Hour for 4400s. Eric Miller, Waylon Campbell, Raul Gomez, Lauren Healy, Cameron Steele, Derek West, JP Gomez, Levi Shirley, Marcos Gomez, Michael Boo, Brian Crofts, Paul Horschel, Bailey Campbell, Vaughn Gittin Jr., Shannon Campbell, and Josh Blyler.
Oh, that's a good group.
So
that's going to be
there
exciting.
will be some speed, and I haven't gotten that Skur guy in there.
Yeah,
I got to get
in there
that Skur guy will be in there someplace.
Yep.
So that's the 4400 class. I'm going to take another kind of break in here, and we're going to talk about some of the new stuff that's happening. Food vendors. We have we completely have redesigned. I'm very thankful for the relationship we had with Brad Young for the past 10 years. Daddy's Barbecue has basically been managing all of our food for the past 10 years. Unfortunately, he couldn't do this year's event, and it just fortuitously, the guy that I raced the Baja 1000 with is a regional director with The Habit Burgers. Everybody's heard of The Habit, right? It's a national chain now, and it's very good burgers, and you're going to be able to get a Habit burger on the lake bed.
Wow, that's cool.
So, as well as a bunch of other really cool food. So we'll have tacos and pizza and barbecue and obviously Habit burgers and ice cream, and there's all kinds of Krispy Kreme donuts.
Gerald seems to.
How are we getting Krispy Kreme donuts? He's bringing Krispy Kreme donuts?
Wow.
Scott Hartman shaking his head yes too?
Yes,
So we're having Krispy Kreme donuts on the lake bed and Habit burgers.
We all need those.
Good thing that I had just gotten, broke the 330 threshold.
Hey, why don't we get somebody else up here?
We'll get somebody else up here.
Yeah. And I was going to say, next time somebody complains about my hat, what about this guy's jacket?
Yeah.
That's bright.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell a Jay Calloway story right now.
Yeah.
While we have a second. You were there for this one.
Yes.
In China. You want to stay for this one.
Okay.
So we're in China, and we're doing our thing, and we're laying out what our plan is. We're going to do like an autograph signing, and we're going to give away some T-shirts, and we're going to just do a kind of a meet and greet thing and everything. And we go through this whole thing about, okay, we're going to go here, then we're going to go over there, then we're going to go back to the cars. But it's pretty straightforward. We got like 3 hours to fill, right? Anybody have any questions? No, everybody's good. It's pretty straightforward, except for Jay. One question, straight-faced. And what was the question, Jay? Shirt on, shirt off.
Well, that's a legitimate question. We were doing. There was, which is this the good camera? Because I've got a good side and I've got a great side. So, I want to give you guys the great side for this. The media over there is crazy. So we have, King of the Hammer is going to have how many? 70,000 people come out in person, and 500,000 or more watch live online.
Yeah.
So in China, that was a neighborhood. So there were hundreds of thousands of people that came out to these events, and some people were saying the millions, and it was a legitimate question, shirt on or shirt off, because the media, we want to put a good face forward with Ultra 4. And
So you figured getting half naked would do that?
Dave, in Jay's
thought
defense,
being
in Jay's
topless.
defense, he had no facial hair, and that was a very popular thing amongst us being in China. And so
Yeah, I was the
think
least
that-
popular guy there.
He was, yeah, he
All
was
you
taken aback
beautiful
a little
bearded, gentlemen were being swooned over, and all the people in China thought I was the bag handler for the for the Ultra 4 guys. So, very humbling experience, actually.
All right.
We should get back to China together. Okay, thank you, Tony. Thanks for being up here.
Thank you.
Scott Hartman, get up here.
Yes, sir.
So, when another byproduct of Jeremy going on is we had to have someone handle vendors, and everybody knows Scott Hartman from Dust Junkies and being around Ultra 4 and desert racing for a long, long time. Scott, you're now hiring our vendors. How's your last month and a half been?
It's been a bundle of joy, absolutely. It's like herding angry wildcats.
Yeah? So, do you have anything that you want to share with anybody? I've got my list I'm about ready to hit, but can you think of anything that's important to talk about?
Not off the top of my head. I think you've covered it pretty good.
I know that we talked about food, and we've also talked about some core stuff. How do you feel about guacamole?
The condiment or what?
More the trail?
I don't know guacamole.
Okay.
It's a trick question.
Right.
So, any more information, or what do you also got?
I've got lots of things on vendors, on sponsors, on all of that stuff, but not on trail stuff.
Anything you want to share about vendors or sponsors?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, our marketing director. Thank you very much, Scott. I'll share something. I'll share marketing stuff. There are 4 new sponsors coming on. One of them we'll talk about in just a second when Justin comes up to talk about bikes, but I am very, very proud to announce that we have our first ever non-endemic sponsor. I don't count Monster as non-endemic because they're all into action sports, but I'm proud to announce that this year we have an official insurance provider, and we also have the Progressive Insurance King of the Motos. So Progressive Insurance has come on board in a big way, and they're going to be vending and having a big presence on site, as well as supporting the series. So thank you to Progressive Insurance. We also have Bomber Eyewear, so we're going to have some sunglasses that we'll be rocking, and also prescription sunglasses in my case. Boxo Tools, which makes some really cool tools, and if you want to check them out, I've got some stuff, and they are awesome. And then CBM Motors, right? CBM's our other new one.
Yep.
That's on top of all of our existing, which I'm going to talk about right now and go through. And first and foremost, we're going in alphabetical order, but 4-wheel parts. Beat it so Brent can say something.
Right on. I'm out.
Brent Gagerbro, 4-wheel parts.
Welcome. Oh, it's your show. Sorry.
Yeah, but we're in your house. Thanks for having us again,
thanks
Brent.
for coming out, everybody. You got a great crowd out here. A lot of people showed up. We're in Riverside. We got Jay. Thanks for coming out.
Absolutely, it's been my pleasure.
Great guy.
And Matt.
Yeah.
And Matt.
And Matt's been quiet over there.
You have anything cool coming up? Anything good happening?
Glad to be a part of this again. And now we have the 4-wheel parts Every Man Challenge, which is a nice change. It's with Smitty built. We're doing it under 4-wheel parts. So very excited for the course and the changes you're talking about. And
Yep.
I think it's going to be a fantastic year, and we get to see some concerts. So nice change.
Fantastic.
Way to keep it moving and keep evolving. It's what we need.
Right on, man. After that Wednesday qualifying that we just talked about, we're going to have our second musical act, and it's going to be a little different. We're actually having dueling pianos, but my understanding it's an incredibly entertaining act. So at first Monster brought it in. I'm like, Monster's bringing in dueling pianos, but I guess evidently it's incredibly entertaining. So looking forward to seeing them play on Wednesday night. We're trying to keep it relatively short because we have an early morning on Thursday racing. But Wednesday night, after the 4-wheel parts EMC race, we'll have another musical act on Wednesday night.
Dueling pianos. I've been to a dueling piano bar a few times. It's pretty fun. So
They are usually pretty cool.
So,
Lots of
I've got some other things I want to talk about. I should have talked about the Mickey Thompson Genrite KOH experience when Tony was up here, but I'll talk about it now while you're gone. Thank you for having us again, Brent.
Okay, thanks.
Let's talk about some other things that I forgot about. Catering tickets. We're doing catering a little different this year. You can buy for the whole week, I believe. You can also buy individual days. If you buy for the whole week, you get some vouchers to be able to go to some of those cool big stores like Habit and the Krispy Kremes and all that kind of stuff. You can go get that as opposed to eating in the catering tent. But the catering tent's going to be top notch as well. The VIP room. So we talked about the big tent's not going to be there anymore. So heads up back there. Hi, how you doing? Thanks. Sorry, just kind of loud. The VIP room. We don't have the big tent anymore. So we changed the 80 by 80 tent that was catering and VIP last year. We made it a 100 by 100 tent, and that will be VIP and catering. And then for the 4 hours during the event that we do drivers meetings, we'll pull the wall back and do that meeting in there. We had a 10,000 square foot tent that cost like 38 grand that we used for 6 hours. So it's kind of dumb. And now we needed a stage area for a stage. We talk about bands, and there's one more band later that we'll talk about that's the kind of more of the headliner.
What about Super Bowl? Jumbotron?
I would have to have NFL licensing to play the game on the Jumbotron, Jay.
Thanks, Jay. That's never been done in Ultra 4 racing. We would never do that, Jay.
I was take off my microphone.
Or we wouldn't play the Super Bowl or Supercross.
The big game.
And there's never a guy in a purple onesie running around as a Jumbotron. Ever.
I've actually never seen that, but we do have more Jumbotrons this year. I can tell you this, that the music stage will also have a Jumbotron, and the way it'll be set up is that midway between the fire and where the big tent was will be kind of wide open, so you'll be able to see a Jumbotron from pretty much anywhere inside of Hammertown, so the vendors will be in a lot better position. There will also be a Jumbotron at Chocolate Thunder and a Jumbotron at Backdoor, and the stage Jumbotron by the fire pit is now going to be incorporated into the monster stage, and the big mobile one that we had there will be in the middle of the short course, so all the pit crews that are watching the race and working the race can sit in their pit stall and watch the race right there on the Jumbotron in the center of the short course.
Nice. That's a good feature.
So, you're welcome. Because what's cooler than one Jumbotron? 7 Jumbotrons.
That is cooler.
8 would be better, but then I would be broker. What else we got here? Talk about scheduled events. Volunteers. Get a hold of Simon at Ultra 4 Racing if you want to volunteer. Please, we need your help. We're a little thin this year. The course is fairly secure this year, but there'll be some cool spots and we could use some help. So Simon at Ultra 4 Racing is waiting for your email if you want to volunteer. I'm sure there's probably something different there that someone's going to correct me on eventually. I haven't had any corrections from Abe or Ryan.
Huge shout out to the volunteers. Those guys are, they
awesome.
do not get enough credit.
Agreed.
From Ultra 4 Europe, my understanding is we have 4 cars, but I'm not sure the 4th car. But Anaki Lanzagordo is coming back from Spain, Chavez Percy from England, and Bernd Schaefer from Germany are all coming to race from Europe. Fuel order will be coming out tomorrow with Renegade Fuel. Mickey Thompson, Genrite KOH Experience. That is going to be on Saturday. You're going to basically scheduled to watch the start of the King of the Motos, right? And then go about and incorporate seeing some of the motos while you're also doing the other rest of the trails. So Tony, how many years have you been doing the experience? It's like 7 or 8 years now. So you get 50, 60, 70 cars for that, right? Over 100 cars. Wow. Awesome. So if you'd like to go out, see the course from a different perspective, get some insight from Tony and the other drivers. I know you get other drivers that kind of show up and join you for that. Join Tony and have a good time. I think I got to talk to you. I think Lauren Healy and Von Gittin want to kind of partner with you and make it even a big, kind of hang out and do some cooler stuff too. Not cooler stuff, but more cool stuff. Yep. Another thing, headshots in the good way, pictures. Jay, this is right up your alley.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. You guys have been super nice to me today.
Yeah, aren't you glad you flew out for this?
I won't have very many friends after tonight, I don't think, actually.
January 31st, all day, 9 to 5. We will be doing headshots, professional headshots for you, for your driver profile, So you can use them for your own PR, because the better off the teams are, the better off we are.
Sure.
So we'll provide that service on Friday the 31st from 9 to 5. Sure.
I feel like that's a trick question. It's like
I'm seeing some votes for shirt off from the fans, Jay.
That's just Luan, actually. That's and Gerald. So.
And well, Gerald. Yeah. Well, I can tell you some stories. I don't know. That just got weird. Yeah. Fill out profile online for announcers. Here's the deal. If you don't go online and put information about your team, Jay and Matt are going to go online and put information about your team.
That should be fun.
Simply put, in the driver profile, that's how our announcers know what to talk about. So
and you're referring to the one on Ultra4Racing.com.
On Ultra4Racing.com. Go there and fill out your driver profile. Tell us who your sponsors are. Tell us about your team. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what's going on. Because if you don't do that, we can't talk about you online. Nothing to say. So we're going to make it up if you don't want to tell us. Okay. And last but certainly not least, we are bringing back the Pit Crew Challenge, which, looking on the schedule, is on Tuesday night, sponsored by Pro Eagle, Buggy Whips, and Boxo Tools. It'll be right there in the Midway. It'll be on Tuesday starting at 5:30, and we're scheduled at that time because that will be the warm day this year. No.
Is that your prediction?
I'm thinking it's going to be warm, all of them. I think it's going to be good weather. We haven't had good weather in a bit.
Say that out loud.
It's not going to be windy either. No wind, warm temperatures.
I would say from all the pictures, more people are smiling in the pictures from the Pit Crew Challenge than anything else throughout the whole week.
The Pit Crew Challenge was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. So very thankful for Pro Eagle, Buggy Whips, and Boxo Tools for bringing that back this year.
What are you registering? Or is it a vote again?
It's not a vote again. Contact Alan if you're interested in participating in the Pit Crew Challenge. So email Alan at Ultra4Racing if you're interested in the Pit Crew Challenge. Okay, those were all my side notes I needed to talk about. So I have left the T1 race. We've talked about 4,400 qualifying order. We can talk about purses. We'll talk about that after the T1 race. Quite honestly, we have about 15 guys registered for T1. Let me go through. I expect that number to be closer to 20, 25 by the time we get done. Kind of at a crossroads on what to do here. I'm not really sure the best thing to do. I like the fact that we have the elite racers racing. I wish we had more cars, so I got to figure out the best way to balance that, whether we break it into multiple races in the same day. But currently right now on the T1 side, we have BJ Baldwin, Raul Gomez, Eric Husted, Justin Lofton, Andy McMillan, Dan McMillan, and Luke McMillan, Bryce Menzies, Bobby Picoy, Steve Serapis, and Cameron Steele. And I believe that Steve Serapis is actually a Christian Serapis, but I'm not positive. I know there's a couple more here that aren't on this list. I know that Rob McCachran's racing. I know that Jesse James is racing. So, there's probably another 5 or 6 that I'm positive are racing that haven't registered yet. But it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, that's cool. It was fun to watch last year.
Pretty incredible. You see them jumping out of the backdoor bypass. But if you saw the trophy trucks, T1 trucks do it. Did you see Jeff McKinley do it? Where's Jeff McKinley at?
Back here.
How'd you feel about that, Jeff?
Well, when I was in the air, it was scary, but right when I landed, it was okay.
Yeah, because you were breathing again.
If I'd have just jumped it straight, it would have been okay, but I did it inverted, and I probably won't try that again.
Okay. So, yeah, that's the T1 race. We've talked about all the other races. We can talk about motos now.
How about mileage?
That is the wrong thing. You know what? We can talk about mileage but you got to give me a second. Alan, I know you're watching. Text me the mileage that I already gave you, because then I can be more educated when I say the answers. Hey Nate, how you doing? You traveled a long way to get here as well, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being here. Okay. So Justin Lineweaver, where are you at?
Right here.
Come on up, Justin. Motos has taken a hiatus, and it's now back. So So at the conclusion of talking about motos, so everybody's on the same page and keeps listening, we're going to talk about purse, which I have right here, which has a lot of zeros on it. And we're going to talk about mileage and maybe some course stuff, and then we're going to get some driver interviews, all the drivers that are out there. They're going to come up, and we'll wrap it up that way. All right, how are we doing on time? An hour and 10 minutes in. We have usually 2 hours in at this point, so this is good. Are we reading all the Motos guys' names?
We can. I have a big name to announce. Just registered. Cody Webb is registered and coming. Sherco is bringing most of their factory team now. That includes Mitch Kavaroff and Grayson Gonzalez too.
Okay.
So Cody's going to have some good competition, and it's shaping up to be quite a race.
So 3 more pros registered since we announced. We figured out the purse tonight.
Yes.
3 more pros signed up. So
Correct.
let's talk about the Motos purse. It's $7,000.
It is
to the
for
winner.
first.
$3,000 to second, $25,000 to third, $15,000 to fourth, and $1,000 to fifth.
Correct.
All right. And the basic. While I'm pulling up the lineup, why don't you explain to me the classes?
Okay, so classes are a little different this year. We're going with the pro class, normal, and amateur class. We're adding a women's class. Along with that, it is an AMA sanctioned event this year. We are the kickoff of a new series, the West Extreme Championship for the Western Hemisphere. With that, we've also added a District 37 class to bring in our local off-road racers. So when you sign up, you'll be either pro, amateur, or women, and then you select your AMA license and your District 37 if you're in a District 37.
Right on. So we're doing a discount for AMA, right? Did you mention
Correct.
that?
Yeah. So if you're already an AMA member, there is a set discount. I think we did.
I don't remember.
10% or something.
Yeah, something like that. We give basically it pays for itself to be a member. So go be a member of AMA.
Right. And you have to be to race. It just saves the hassle and saves the price of registering once you're on the lake bed. So do it in advance, get the discount. It pays for it.
All right. Okay, I got riders' names here. You want to read these? If I read them, you give me some color about them.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
That works.
And again, just to kind of wrap it up, we talked about Ryan. You're new, a face on the mic, but the reality is you've been helping Jimmy for at least the last 3 or 4 years. I've been doing it from the very beginning.
Correct. Yeah. So little background on me, Justin Lineweber. I came out and watched King of the Motos in 2011. I literally rode my bike from my house. I lived just across the lake bed. I came back, I watched Destry Abbott struggle up Jack South, and I was on my KX500, and I said, well, I could do that. And I came back 2012, and I figured out just how wrong I was. So I raced off and on throughout the years. When I wasn't injured, I raced. If I happened to be injured from training or other racing, I helped out Jimmy, and that's my background. I really shadowed him in 2018. And we took a little break in 2019, and we're back in a big way for 2020.
Right on, and then it's the Progressive Insurance King of the Motos.
Progressive Insurance King of the Motos, that's huge.
Yeah, I'm excited. So pro riders, Quinn Wetzel, Wayne Dickert, Mitch Carvuth, Nick McGowan, Dalton Dietz. Actually, I think how many Motos guys here? I see Tim Roble here. Is any other Motos guys here? Tim, come on over.
Matt's back here.
Matt, come on up here too.
Walter's back here.
All the Motos guys, come on up here. Tim Roble, what's your name? What's your name?
Walter.
Walter, what's your last name?
Marianchek.
Walter Marianchek. You racing?
No, I'm actually helping Mark.
So I can give you a little background on these 3 guys.
Yeah.
Tim Roble, I started training with him in 2012, and he's been kind of a helper, and he's raced every year, just about.
4 years. I had the flu, didn't make a year, and I don't know what happened last year we didn't have it.
Yep.
So back again.
So I've known Tim pretty much my whole King of the Motos experience. Now, Walter, I met him a couple years ago, and this year he's been more than gracious to follow me around and make sure I don't kill myself when we're making the track. He's added some cool lines to the track he's not racing because he knows and you're not allowed to know it. Yeah. Then we got Matt Musgrove here. He runs the IRC Enduro Fest up in Reno, and he's going to be helping me out for this King of the Motos as well, just kind of putting out fires on race day. So.
Fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen. I think, Tim, you were like one of the first guys that signed up for the original King of the Motos.
Yes, I was Dave's kind of little bit pain in the butt. They were taking some wild cards, and I just kept emailing and putting me in and putting pictures and posting on social media. And the next thing you know, he told me to shut up. You're in. So
sounds about right.
That was a little bit of a.
Stop bothering
I guess
me.
we're calling the motos a OG 20. I think there was 23 of us that actually raced.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was cool. I did it on a 04 450 EXC dual sport street legal, and learned a lot. And back on a 4-stroke again this year, which is kind of a rare thing for an extreme enduro guy. But it actually, I like the way the bike actually works and tracks better. So.
Right on.
Cool.
Thank you, Tim. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Quinn Wenzel, Wayne Dickert, Mitch Carboth, Nick McGowan, Dalton Dietz, Will Reardon.
I don't recognize that name.
And Max Gersten, and David Camo, and Dustin McCarthy. McCarthy?
McCarthy.
Okay, I got a misspelling on that. But those round out the pros for now, but you said we added Cody Webb as well tonight?
Cody and Grayson Gonzalez. So a lot of those pros you'll see in Endurocross, which comes to Southern California. A lot of big desert guys. Brand new David Camo in there.
Yep.
He's been big in a lot of the off-road races, so I'm excited to see how the pro class shapes up.
Right on. Into the amateurs, we have Chris Gage, Jacob Field, Jamison Moses, Brian Curlis, Jacob Simmons, Bo Law, Yoram Levy, Philip Schuyler, Tyler Seaheader, John Kearney, Andrew Dixon, Jared Jasicki, Kyle Prescott, Ryan Govia, Kyle Ruggles, Jeffrey Robinson, Jackson Watson, Kevin Scheftel, Jonathan Clark, Joshua Marcus, Tucker Hopkins, Jason Snetzinger, Kevin Cunningham, Aaron Hirschfeld, Mark Heater, Isaac Marks, Brandon McGowan, Jason Hall, Jackson Davis, John Ware, Jared Snetzinger, Paul Day, Frederick Parr, Taylor Duprow, Mark Koch, Jeffrey Delaney, Darren Davies, Elaine Vanderwall, Ila Malikoff. I'm assuming that's a Russian guy, but I'm not positive.
That is a Russian guy. He came out and borrowed my bike about a year ago when I wasn't racing because of my knee surgery.
Yeah.
And went out with Walter here and took on some of the King of the Motos trails, and I'm excited to see him coming back to race it because he's really good.
Right on. Brandon McGee, Matthew Hoffman, Brian Leonhardt, Colton George, Thomas Walker, Brian Hull, Daryl Collins, Robert Katz, Jeffrey Mize, Jack Williford, Chris Reisner, Louise Forsley. Is it Louise?
Louise, yep.
Okay.
She's our Moto Woman sign up so far.
Jonathan Schultz, Devin Finaro, Joshua Harvey, Chris Mast, Emilio Vasecki, Jason McCoon, Daniel Melvin, Julian Heer, Cameron Steele, racing every single race. Frederick Shippert, Daniel Hayakawa, Aaron Fatt, PFADT, Timothy Roble, and Jonathan Arnott.
So a lot of returning names in there.
Yep.
And I hear a lot of international racers. I know Yoram is from Israel. We've got Quinn, which I believe is from back east. Got racers from Mexico in there. We got the Russian racer coming over.
Yep.
I'm hoping to pull a few more from Europe to really put on a show with Cody Webb for the pro class also.
So general format, we have a morning race that's going to be started single file.
It is. We have our morning prologue set up on a timed minute, and each rider will start at their prescribed time, and how fast they finish sets up their gate pick for the afternoon race, or late morning race, excuse me.
And then the late afternoon, then talk about the afternoon race.
All right, so then we start the late morning race. It's going to be 3 different loops. We're going to start with the bronze lap. That's going to be difficult for
Land rush start.
Correct. typical to the old King of the Motos format. It's going to be a sight to see. Pretty close to Hammertown, so easy for spectators to get to and witness. So bronze lap, we're going to do a loop. It's going to cover a lot of classic trails with some new terrain. They're going to come back in, have a bit in pit, and then we're going to move on to our silver loop. Continuous race, however long they stay in pit is up to them. Silver's along the same lines as bronze, just a couple more difficult sections to really set in that this is King of the Motos. Then we get to gold. Gold's been altered in my book a little bit. We've changed the format, so there is no long straightaways in gold. It is all tight, single track, brand new trail, close to Hammertown, and it's definitely going to be a show.
Right on. And that'll be the final test. If you can finish that, the fastest one there, regardless if you're amateur pro, will take the purse.
Yep. Once we do prologue, prologue gets rid of the classes. Where you come in, where you qualify after the prologue is where you start. And so where you finish for the second loop is also no class. So we could have an amateur win it overall.
Yep.
Anything.
Historically, what's the finish rate on motos?
2.
2, really?
3.
Any predictions for this one?
I'm shooting for, my goal for this race this year is to have the amateurs finish bronze and be happy in themselves, be satisfied. But for the pros to finish gold, I'm only hoping 1 or 2, honestly, if they can.
You guys thought I was rough.
Yeah, no kidding.
I would say it's easily one of the most exciting races to watch, especially the start. It's awesome. It's a highlight of the week.
Well, we're ending Hammer Week this year, and that's really exciting for me because we're going to put on one heck of a show for the last day.
Very cool.
Good stuff.
Anything more about motos?
Something new we've added that wasn't in the What You Need to Know About Motos page. It'll be updated soon, but we're going to have a remote pit, so be prepared for that. Our course length is approximately 30 miles for bronze and silver. Gold being altered at the last minute to make it that much more extreme for the pros and anybody else that wants to take it on. There is no remote pit for the last lap, but the first 2, just be prepared for remote pit.
Fantastic. So after motos on Saturday, to finish out our schedule, and I think I'm remiss. I screw up one thing every year somehow. I've talked about every sponsor. I've talked about all the stuff, but I haven't talked about our title sponsor at all. Nitto King of the Hammers. I've talked about 4WP. I'm thankful. We talked about Genrite and everything else, and all the sponsors up here. But we would not be doing this in any way if it was without Nitto. So thank you for Nitto for sponsoring the entire event. So they are the overarching sponsor across the whole event, and I'm thankful for that. From a schedule standpoint, after your guys' race, before we go dark and we go to a music band that I won't be able to say the name, but I promise you is a worldwide headliner.
Okay.
I'll explain why I can't. The bottom line is I don't want the event to change. I'm scared that if we start promoting this as come see this headliner that you would go spend $200 to go watch in a club or in an arena, and these guys have played arenas, then I'll get a different crowd. And I want the guys that are already coming, the families that are already coming to King of the Hammers, I want them to just be that much more entertained. We're not changing the prices, we're not doing anything, we're not jacking anything up. I just want the people that are already coming to enjoy themselves that much more. So we'll be dropping some hints about stuff, but we're not going to be announcing anywhere who's actually coming. And that's what I got.
Fair enough.
Right now. But on Saturday, between you guys, between Motos and that band, the Gambler 500 is also coming to race. So Jump Champs, Gambler 500, Motos, UTVs, Nitto King of the Hammers, 4WPMC. We are, if you walk away, if you can walk away after this, that's cool. But if you walk away from this and go, man, I just wish I was entertained more, then I really can't do much more for you, because It's like racing non-stop. And when you're not racing, then there's all the shenanigans happening on the trails. Last thing about shenanigans on the trails, a big thing for motos guys. All the guys out there that are trail wheeling, I need help for this. This is one of those peer pressure things. You guys all respect the fact that the cars are running on the trails and you stay off them when they're racing. You need you to stay off the trails when the bikes are racing. Historically, even when motos was at the beginning of the week, people were like, it's bikes. I'll just go drive on the trails. Show the same respect for the bikes as you do for the cars. You wouldn't do it if Jason Shear was going to be coming down the trail at you at 25 miles an hour. The bikes are going faster and they have much more exposure. Please respect them and let them have their opportunity on the course. And if you know a buddy that's I'm going to go wheeling on Saturday morning, no, you're not. And if you are, look at our trail map. We're only going to touch a few of the hammer trails for, what, a handful, 3 or 4?
Yeah, 4 at the most.
Four at the most for motos on Saturday, and none on Saturday afternoon.
Correct. We'll be off by.
So I'm asking for 3 hours of your time not to go on the core hammer trails, and that's all I'm asking. Fair enough? Talk to your peers. If you see somebody, if you know somebody, the upside is, even though it's gotten pretty big, you still pretty much know somebody who knows somebody out there. So help me do that education, okay? Talked about the bands. We talked about food. We talked about pretty much everything. We got a purse to talk about. We can talk about pits and maybe drop some hints about race course. And I got mileage. Is that what?
Has that changed the format?
What's that?
Tech and contingency.
Tech and contingency is the exact same. If you got a new car, get your schedule done. Everything else, go through and do it. The line and timing? What do you mean? What about it? Have you been to a score race? It didn't take forever. I guarantee you. You just said it took forever.
We got there at 2 and we got down to 5:30.
So it took you 3.5 hours. Just a second.
And thank God you were there. You went this out.
I understand, but 3.5 hours isn't forever, bud. No, I know. It's one day, and it's in front of your fans. Try to find a different frame of mind about it. If I were you, I would take 10 hours doing tech, because this is your opportunity to talk to all of those vendors, and they all want to talk to you. One of the main things that Scott's got to handle and fight for is everyone wants the cars that come in front of their booth because they all want to talk to you. They want to sell you stuff. They also want to sponsor you. They want to partner with you. They want to know about you. So take the time to do that. Make it take 6 hours. Don't try to rush it through 2.5. There's tricks to get through faster. I'll give you 2 tricks. And this is what I do. I'm telling you the opposite, right? So here's your trick for you. Show up at 4:30. I guarantee you we're going to get you through because we're going to tech everybody. So if you show up at 4:30, you're still going to be done at 5:30. If you show up at 2:30, you're going to be done at 5:30, right? Or show up at 6 a.m. and you'll be done by 9 a.m. All right? So there's a couple tricks, but if I were you, I would take the time. It's worth it.
I think you can go online and see the full tech checklist. Everything that the tech guys go through is all listed.
Yeah.
And you can be 100% prepared, no surprises.
But I promise you, I know what you're talking about is when we came in and started knocking stuff out, we will be efficient that way again. I don't want you waiting around. I don't want you standing there for no reason. So just take your time, get through it, and enjoy it the best you can. Just carve out that time. Know you're going to spend 4 hours doing it, and then feel happy when you get it done in 2. Fair? Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Pit 1 completely. Here's a course thing for you guys. It's very important. Pit 1 is open all day. Okay. So think about what I just said to you, and I'll just be blunt about it. Every other time when you guys have done going back out, when you go out on lap 2, you only go out and you take an abbreviated cutover to go to the rocks. You are going to pit 1 on lap 2. Make sense?
Same location.
Same location. Pit 1 is pit 1. There was also no pit 2A. Pit 2A was the one close to Boulder Dash. There was only a pit 2B. Okay? You will be able to get from pit 2B back to main pit. You will touch pit 2B multiple times. You'll touch pit 1 multiple times, and obviously you'll touch main pit when you finish your laps. There is not some weird lap 3 in there, except for the 4,400 guys, which is a very weird lap 3.
Are you going to stick with the traditional, or can you even speak to this? The traditional desert loop is the first lap?
The traditional desert loop has 3 rock trails in it.
Okay.
So lap 1 has 3 rocks. Actually, technically, it has 4 rock trails. Because I've already said you're coming down Resolution and Backdoor, and everyone's doing it. Stock, UTV, T1s. No, but I wish. Wouldn't that be awesome? I've actually had 4 or 5 of those guys asked to come down Chocolate Thunder. And I can't for 2 reasons. One, I can't do anything with them once I get them there. Not that there'd be anything left of the cars. And 2, that's just wrong. I mean, we would literally be destroying $500,000 cars for the sake of destroying them, and they would get destroyed. So don't want to do that. They will have some obstacles that they were going to wonder what the heck they're doing on, though. As far as rest of the course, there is 4 new trails on the course. I said before, 2 of them have consequences, 2 of them don't. One of them you'll run every lap. So for the EMC guys, they'll be on your 2nd lap. I believe that's a stock bypass, if I remember correctly. And one of them will be a lap 3 only, just for 4,400. So technically the EMC guys only have 3 new rock trails because one of them is that hard. And to give you some example of how hard those trails are, Spooner and Outer Limits are on lap 2 and lap 3. So that tells you how far we up the game for lap 3 if Spooner's is a lap 2 lap. So there is rocks, lots of them.
Are virtual checkpoints back in the rock trails?
Virtual checkpoints back in the rock trails, yes, and that'll be partial stock bypasses. So say, for example, if you were to run up Spooners in a stock car, you would probably have bypasses available to you that aren't available to other cars. We've got better refined on how we do it, on how we did it last year. We will be abundantly clear about what is disqualification versus what is time penalties. We'll talk about, there'll be some of both. There'll be some checkpoints that are going to be disqualifications because they're blatant short course, and some that are, well, you screwed that up and here's your penalty for it. Okay?
Is this thing won before the sun goes down on Wednesday or Friday?
Well, it'll be won before the sun goes down on Wednesday because the race ends at 6 o'clock. So, but I think there'll be a lot less finishers on Wednesday. And it'll be won before the sun goes down on Friday. It's still good. It'll be 3:25, 3:30, someone will finish.
Think the stock car's gonna finish?
Fast.
I know a stock car will finish. Yeah. It's hard. It's not, it's just relentless. And it's just going to be a good course. And the things that are really brutal that are in lap 2, some of them are bypasses for you guys just because they just wouldn't happen. You just wouldn't get through, period. It's a good course. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what you ladies and gentlemen do and go out and show the world that you're the best drivers out there. Super stoked about it. Got a bunch of questions. And by the way, where does Abe go? Abe, you here? Yeah. You got any questions for me from online? No. None? Okay, well, if Bailey's got questions from online. Yeah. Is that coming from Lindsay and Alan?
Jonathan Trahune.
Jonathan Trahune.
Yeah, messaging me on Facebook.
Okay, what does Jonathan Trahune want to know?
How many laps?
Yep.
So 2 and 3 traditional, it sounds like.
Yeah, traditional lap counts.
Mileage.
I've got mileage right here.
And then mileage to the first rock trail, and which rock trail is the hardest?
I can't tell you which rock trail is the hardest because I can tell you this. You guys are all complaining about Spooners going down, and Spooners going up is a lap 2 trail. So there is something harder. Ultra 4, U4, this is all classes, lap 1, 77 miles. Lap 2, 66 miles. Lap 3, 69 miles. Total 212, which ironically I think was our exact mileage count like 2 years ago. Is that Levi Shirley in the house? Hey Levi, come on up here, man. You can be the first of our guys coming up. Justin, do you have anything else for us on motos?
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you very much, Justin. And everybody on the moto side, just like it was Jimmy's persistence that got me to do motos in the first place, it is absolutely Justin's persistence is the reason why King of the Motos is back. Justin, thank you much for your hard work, all the people helping you.
Thank you for letting us come back.
Hey guys.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Thought I'd come out from Kansas.
Yeah? Talking to the microphone.
Yeah, just thought I'd come clear out here from Kansas.
Just stop by?
Yeah, just swing by.
Yeah, you got nothing going on?
Wanted some tacos.
Tacos. You got tacos right over there, right? Yeah. Okay, keep talking into the microphone though.
Yeah. Oh, okay. How come, oh, you guys are mic'd up. Okay.
Yeah,
I follow. I follow.
Let me cover some more stuff. EMC does first 2 laps. T1 is 3 laps of 100 miles each. So T1 will not be coming back into the main pit between. There is no loop 1 and loop A, loop B for T1. Like last year where they went out, came back, went out and came back, and that was 1 lap. They go out and they go for 100 miles and then they come back. It's just the way it needed to be done. Okay, the Nitto King of the Hammers race presented by Optima is 212 miles total mileage. So you can do the subtraction, take 70 off of that, 152, 153 for the EMC race. For Legends and Modified, stock will be something very close to that, but probably a mile or 2 off.
First lap shorter too.
First lap is shorter, yes.
For everybody. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Any other questions? UTV mileage would be the same as everybody else because you're running the exact same course. Bar none. Literally, you're running the same course as Legends and Modified because you guys deserve it because your cars are awesome. And I mean that sincerely. I am the main guy that said golf carts this and golf carts that. It has nothing to do with the fact there's 120 cars racing. It's the fact that the talent, the cars, it is mind-boggling. That UTV race is going to be insane. And thank you for Can-Am for sponsoring it and making it happen. But really to the entire industry and to everybody, the way they've stepped up that race is pretty awesome. You're not racing UTVs this year, right?
Yeah, I've never raced UTVs. So someday.
Someday. Okay, Chris Ray, question.
Two things. Weren't you one of the first people to spot the UTV of Chocolate Thunder, if I remember correctly? The old blue
When we first started trying to make money for Save the Hammers, I would win $100 bets. I think Tony was one of my first victims when we had the old blue Kawasaki and it's the Kawasaki Teryx, and like everyone's like, you can't drive UTVs on rocks. I'm like, I'll get it up. I'll bet you $100 to get it up. And we used to drive it up. That car was brutalized. That poor car.
That was rough.
Yeah.
But you made money for the Hammers.
All save for the Hammers, and we all did it together.
The actual question that people might care about that aren't in this facility, what are we looking at for spectator viewing?
Spectator viewing. That would be at Jackhammer.
Okay.
It would be at Chocolate Thunder / Idle Issues / Her Problems. It would be at Backdoor. It would be in main camp because there's 3 Jumbotrons there.
Yep.
It would be at Cougar Buttes.
So the notches?
Yep. And then we have 2 desert sections as well that will be viewing areas. And then we have a completely different area, and you have to get a hold of Icon for this. But Icon and Trigger are getting together. I can't remember what Trigger's company's name is, and that's going to mess me up. But what's Trigger's company's name? Figure that out for me, Scott. What's that? Advanced Accessory Concepts and Icon are getting together to do a overland group. They will be camped out on that upper lake bed above, like when you're heading out towards Pit 2A, and they will have some VIP type exposure as far as where they can go and watch the race where no one else can go.
So I think one that I saw mentioned but might have been off the radar because it's not general access. Is the VIP access, if I remember right, that's the top to the mailbox?
No, the VIP access is actually completely different this year. There's 100 tickets. If you buy the full package for the week VIP, not only do you get food from Drew Deckman, who's a Michelin star chef, he's going to be cooking the food in there. You get to sit on the short course and watch from climate controlled, sitting on the couch, watching on your own Jumbotron inside the VIP tent. And when you want to go out and watch the trail, you have your own personal worn VIP vest, and you get front of the line privileges at every spectator area. So if you roll up the Chocolate Thunder, you walk right to the front, you sit right in front of the ropes, right there and watch it. And we're only selling 100 of those. And I think like 30 of them are already sold. You can buy day passes and not have that front of the line stuff, and so it's cheaper, and you still get the food and you get to hang out, and you can do just less days, but that's for the full week package. Yes, sir.
As far as pre-running on the military base, some of the flags,
They'll be.
are we going to get to go out farther on to the military bases this year?
We are not going to go further onto the military base this year, but that option is available in coming years. That trail, that course has quite honestly not been set on the military base because we're still trying to sort some better options out. Worst case, it's going to be the same as it's been because that's what I've been limited to. We're never going to be able to go back to Galway. It's just not going to happen. Theoretically, Elvis is still in play. But that's theoretically, and I haven't gotten that approved yet.
So it's just that 7-mile triangle back to pit one, basically.
Yeah, both directions though. You will be able to go onto it. Hey, Scott Foley, how are you doing? Good to see you, man. You will be able to go on. You will be able to pre-run if you have a pre-run flag. You can get those at registration starting on the 24th when we open. But you cannot, under any circumstances, go on the military base until pre-running is open. You will not like what ends up happening. You will no longer have a pre-runner, and you will probably spend some time in jail. It's trespassing. Don't do it. Chris.
I know there was a press release that we got back 25,000 acres towards the north side of Johnson Valley. Can you speak to any of that?
So here's the deal on that. It's kind of a catch-22. Last year, we were fortunate enough to get a 5-year permit. Maybe we were 2 years into it now. To get that 5-year permit, I had to submit any possible trail I want to use in 5 years. That was not in my opportunity then. I submitted basically every path you could ever run in Johnson Valley. So it's literally like 9,000 miles of loops. However, that wasn't part of the deal, so I couldn't do it. I don't know that we'll ever race there. I would like to, but it's tremendous opportunity to go out and hang out, but it's not a great place to go race to because it's fairly narrow access to get into, and you have to come back out that same access. I'll look into it. If it went out to touch Galway, I'd be all over it. I would drive to Barstow to get to Galway Lakebed again, but it's not part of Galway's not part of that deal. But it's great that we, as the public, have the opportunity to go wheel on that again. It's awesome, and there's a lot more at Spangler as well. Thank you, Paul Cook, for making that happen. Public service announcement. I would like to, I gotta get the right date. We'll announce it on our Facebook. You know, we fairly kind of stay out of politics the best we can. But Dawn Rowell, who has been a longtime supporter of the race as a volunteer, is now a county commissioner for San Bernardino. She's up for re-election, and she's going to have a fundraiser at my ranch sometime, I think sometime in the next couple weeks. I gotta look up the date. Look for it on Facebook. She could use your help. We definitely need the support in the county. It's a big deal. And Mr. Cook, Paul Cook, Congressman Cook, is retiring at the end of this year. So this is kind of a volatile year from a political standpoint, and it's unbelievable how much has happened in the political side for us over the last 14 years. And you think about it with the Save the Hammer side, with the county county potentially not wanting us to be here, the state not wanting us to be here, BLM not wanting us to be here. A lot of that has been with the political spurt we've had. So if it's A, within your budget, or B, within your political desires, it'd be wonderful you could help support those people that help support us. I don't know. What else we got?
Mileage
I don't have it exactly. It is relatively the same to pit 1. I got a bunch of other questions too. Relatively the same to pit 1, relatively the same back to pit 1, relatively the same back to main pit. 15 miles, then 30 or 40, and then 15 or 20, whatever that is.
40 miles.
Pit 2B, you touch 2 times per lap. You touch it 2 times per lap. And pit 1, you'll touch 2 times per lap as well. 3 times, 2 times on lap 1, and then once every all the other laps you touch pit 1.
So longest in between a pit is 40 miles?
The longest between a pit, I would say, is no more than 40 miles, 45 miles. I will get exact miles and I'll post it up. Sorry, I don't have that. How many helicopters this year? I think we have 2 with 1 backup. T1 truck garage's pit location the same, and can they have more room? They can have the same room as everybody else because they're all racers. 40 by 80. Are there more live cameras for live coverage this year? There are some things happening that are mind-blowing that might happen with live coverage, but I can't really talk about it yet until it actually happens. There's potential that things are going to go dumb. But yes, we're already upping the live show anyway, but there's a potential that it might go completely crazy. And drivers who need garage space to pay the $50 soon. Spacers are going fast. The reality is there's 434 drivers and there's 320 spots. Do the math.
What's the timing for the addresses?
Timing for the addresses? Now. Started about a month ago.
Come back to us. Your first pass.
Like your ETA on
when will Simon give you his first pass? I would say, Simon's hearing that question. He'll text me in a second. Simon, tell me when you're going to put out the first public pass. Okay? I'll give you your answer in 1 second, sir.
Randomized starting order for those that are not qualifying?
Randomized start order, yes. I'm sorry I didn't read that, but that'll be online. You're right, there's other starters that aren't there, and I apologize for that. That'll all be online. That's a severe miss on my part. My bad. I apologize to any drivers out there that didn't call their name because they weren't qualifying. It's not because we care about you less. I just wasn't prepared, and we got the qualifying list out, and I didn't get the randomized done. I apologize. Anything else? Sean, you're here. I am. We talked about you earlier. Sean Kepler from Jump Champs. Come on in here. Do you have any announcements to make?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Get that mic out of your hand right now. I was going to wait till at least the weekend so you can go over it. So hopefully next week. That's Simon's answer to me. So I would say you'll have it by Tuesday morning. We moved to the lake bed on Friday. I don't think many people realize that. But of the core people that are here, I see Scott, I see Abe, Ryan. Who else is here that I'm missing as far as core team that'll be out on Friday? Tandy will be out there. We move out there on Friday and we stay there until like the 20th of February or 19th of February. So when by Tuesday we get our feet underneath it, we get our RVs set up. By Monday, me and Simon will have talked. By Tuesday morning, you'll have your list. It's realistic. I'd like to do it faster, but that's realistic. Sean, Jump Champs.
Yep.
We carved out an hour. I said you guys are going to do it, so we got to figure this out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. It's not going to be too much work, but I think we can put on a good show.
Right on. So you're going to have looking like 10, 15 trucks, jump in. What's realistic if we have if you had a 6-foot jump, 6-foot tall lip, and you were jumping downhill doing 100 miles an hour, how far could you jump?
You'd easily be able to go 150, maybe 180. Depends on how peaky that lip is. Give it some belly, take the belly out, send us up in the air, you can go pretty far. So we can do a little bit of testing ahead of time just to kind of get it ramped up and then go from there.
Right on.
But I got a laundry list of guys that I messaged after we spoke, and got quite a few verbal commitments.
You want to? You going to name any names that'll kind of pique everybody's interest?
I got Nick Tonelli. I got Blake Wilkie, Mike Kosarev, Joel LaBeouf. A lot of the 1450 pre-runner racer guys.
Did you get Zayden?
Well, we're in talks right now. We'll see if he'll bring a 6100 truck out.
Barry Zayden. I've never met a camera you didn't like. So get your car out there.
Yeah, it would look good in front of there. I think he might get a run for his money with some of the other guys. Maybe even his kids, if they come out, they got a nice motor in that truck. Maybe it'll be some good competition. So
right on. We'll look forward to working with you.
Yeah,
so,
I appreciate the opportunity, and we look forward to putting on a good show.
So between concerts and shootout and jump champs and Gambler 500 and the UTV race and qualifying and the EMC race and T1s and that Nitto King of the Hammers thing and King of the Motos, if anybody says, I'm not going to pay $25 to come to the desert, sorry, I don't know what more to do for you. If you think $25 is too much to watch all of that, sorry, I don't know what to say. What's that? Camper pass is a thing, yeah. Yep. So it's $25 plus your $20 camper pass for the week, but it's still cheaper than parking at the airport for a day. So, anything else you want to talk about?
No, but I'm looking forward to coming out, and thank you a lot for putting on such a great event. I think there's nothing else like it in the world, so I appreciate to be part of it.
Thanks, Sean. See you out there. We look forward to working with you. Sean Kepler, Jump Champs. All right, so we always close this off by having our racers come out. Everybody that's here that's racing, come on up here now. Get up here, everybody. Come on. Last chance for questions. I'm looking through my text, making sure I don't have any.
What about clean up after yourself?
What's that?
Distance to first rock trail.
Distance to first rock trail?
First rock trail, yeah.
40 miles, 50 miles. First rock trail will be Cougar Buttes. New line. Everybody in. There is no way that I can introduce everybody here, but we're all here. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. It's great to see you.
Try to scoot in as much as possible.
Everybody, come on, scooch in or pan it back and forth, whatever.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm looking for last call and questions. Any questions here? Hey, Sam. Good to see you, man.
Who's gonna win it?
Who's gonna win it? Which race?
44.
Each class. You asking me that?
Sure. Call it.
Will it be someone new? We're going to know a new name this year.
I'm going with Dawson Allington in stock class. He's kind of pulls at my heartstrings, so I'm going to go with Dawson Allington in stock class. You know what? I'm recanting that. I want to see you guys win it.
Love doing it.
Dawson, forget it. 4,500. I think Jimmy Jack's going to win it.
Yeah?
I think Jimmy Jack's going to win it. I think I haven't talked to him.
What do you think, Dan?
Oh, Dave Schneider.
I think he's far off too.
Dave Schneider racing Dustin Friesen's car, the car that I raced in. Obviously, the car works because obviously I can't drive, and the car worked fine at Nationals. So, I heard you had a really snarky comment.
Which time?
That Dustin's car was faster than your car, but you were way faster than Dave.
Oh, I didn't say that, but I would.
He'll own it. He'll own it.
I'll own that.
I'm still going with Jimmy Jack to win modified.
Just because we're sitting here, or?
No, because I think that Jimmy's due.
Jimmy
He won last year.
He's due for a two-peat.
He's due for it. You guys would be shocked at how little I actually follow who's done what.
Really?
Yeah, like I have no clue most of the time who's done what because I don't. Somebody's doing scoring, they got it. I don't. But so yeah, okay. Jimmy Jack's still picking you. What are my other classes here? 4,800. Doc's going to be fast. Casey Gilbert's going to be fast. I'm going to stick with the pattern of going here. I'm going with Mike Johnson's going to make it with a little car.
Yeah.
I believe. Rock crawling is going to be a premium this year. So if you can go rocks, if you can drive rocks, you'll do well in this race. If you can't do rocks,
good luck.
UTVs. Man, it's hard to go against the Guthries. Completely dark horse, but he can race. Obviously can race. I'm going to say CJ Greaves.
If you can hold it together, you'll do a good job.
And the guy that I would like to see go is Dustin Jones, Can-Am dude from Louisiana. I'd like to see him go fast. I think he can get it done as well. What am I missing? 44. T1. Bryce Menzies. All-wheel drive truck. If not, just anybody. If you don't just put down money on Andy McMillan on anything that he's racing, because Andy McMillan's just Andy McMillan, Rob Mack. I mean, it's like I'm bummed at the car count for T1s, but the level of talent is just gargantuan.
Yeah.
So you got to see those guys race. 4,400. Got it in you?
Let's hope. Put a lot of hard work into it.
I'm going with Levi Shirley to get his first King of the Hammers win.
I like that.
Other than that, I think I wouldn't be able to hazard a guess on shootout. I can guarantee it's going to be a show. And motos, I don't know where Justin's at, but I don't know how you ever go against Cody Webb, guy that seems to win everything now.
Hey Dave,
Justin, who's your pick? Huh?
Aren't you going to be able to wager on the 4400s through a guy to your right in a foundation, kinda?
Oh, you want? I don't
know if we have a structure for
I don't think we have wagering. We have like a telethon. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, we can. Do you want to? We can share.
It's
not ironed out. It's close.
Yes. Talk about it.
Okay.
The systems is evidently not going along as fast as we can, but we can do it on paper. They did it on paper for years. It's not wagering, but it's go ahead, Matt. Talk about it.
It's a race-a-thon. So it's basically to support the Jesse Combs Foundation, where the participating drivers, you can pick your favorite driver and how much you want to pledge per mile, and then however many miles they go, that pledge becomes a donation that goes to the foundation. So, yeah.
We're kind, purses. Hey, I think that's probably important, right? Purse, 4,400. Winner, 50,000. Second place, 15. Third, 7,500. Fourth, 5,500. Fifth, 4,500. Sixth, 4,000. 3,500. 3,000. 2,500. 2,000 down to 10th. T1, one flat fee, winner take all, $100,000. 4,500, same purse as last year, and the rest of the classes will be as well. 5,000, 3,500, and 1,500 for 45, 46, 48. Even though it's a trophy class, we'll get paid at King of the Hammers again, and UTV as well. 5,000, 3,500, and 1,500. Shootout first place, 7,500. Best in show, 2,500. We have a Bounty Hill possibility with that trail as well. So we got to look into it. I got to let those guys see it. They think it's worth being a Bounty Hill. Then we'll figure out a way to pay them for it. And Moto, 7,000, 3,000, 2,500, 1,500, and 1,000. I'm not sure what that adds up to, but I'm pretty sure we're close to $300,000 again this year. So.
Very cool.
There is some other things that are going to be coming down the pike sponsorship-wise that have not been announced that will augment this purse slightly and will change the way things are done. We weren't prepared to talk about those things yet, but they will be coming out fairly soon. So there's some tweaks to that purse that will do nothing but raise it. You got to give me a little bit. We got a little bit of time we have to cover, get some contracts signed. Other than that. How about you guys? Do you guys have any questions? You guys have anything you want to say? How many people have a car that, of these guys that everybody here is racing, how many people's cars run right now, ready to race right this second? 2.
How many have motors in them?
How many can even start their car right now?
I can start it.
So we have 3 cars that can start and 2 cars that are evidently race ready. I think it's time to go back to work. Thank you all for watching. Matt, thanks for coming out from Texas. Jay, thanks for coming from whatever planet you're from.
Hey, let me say this. I teased a lot of guys tonight, but it's only because of how much I respect them and how much they've accomplished in racing. And when you look at the list, the 4,400 cars, the Power Hour, you name 20 guys that could be in the Power Hour. So just the talent that's coming out, all these guys here, it's going to be an awesome week. So I'm very excited. I'm very gracious to be a part of it. So thank you for having me out. Appreciate it.
Jay, it's an honor. I love hanging out with you, man. And I look forward to seeing you racing again. You didn't get as much racing in last year.
Yep.
And hopefully we're going to see you more this year.
Excited to be back and be a part of it.
And in all fairness, as much as you get kind of teased and razzed and stuff like that about being Jay Calloway, but not necessarily being Jay Calloway, the racer guy, you have stepped up your racing game, and I'm proud of you. Keep going, all right? Keep doing your thing.
Oh.
I'm serious. That is absolutely non-sarcastic real.
He's tearing up.
It's a big day today. And I'm stoked you're racing too. And
Yeah,
Tribe
thanks.
16 hosting the fire, right?
We have the fire pit again. Yeah, I'm bringing 4510 back out. We heard Dan was bringing 88 back out. So
Had to get it done.
Whatever. What is it?
We're not going to win anyway.
4500. Yeah. Apparently Jimmy Jack's got this. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's all.
Not sure. I mean, we're out there for fun.
As everybody knows, I've already picked the winners, and that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
So, what's that? There's a hot dog cart every night at the fire. There's coffee every morning.
Well, we have something pretty cool coming too. We I can remember seeing the fire pit sculpture. I don't even know what to call that thing.
Yep.
In the shop last year, and I was like, oh man, you better send somebody a picture of that. That's really big. And then we set it up at the fire pit, and we were like, that's not very big. So this year it's going to be bigger. It's completely safe though.
Is Miles coming back?
What's up, Trey? Why aren't you up here? This is Racers up here. You're racing. And Trey McKinley, Jeff's kid, celebrating a state championship in football too, right? Yeah. Congratulations,
Nice.
Trey.
Yeah.
LCQ, here's some questions. LCQ is actually scattered amongst all the drivers.
How many are you getting in?
We are right now with LCQ, we have 100 cars registered. So I would say go do your best. But we're going to have 100 cars racing. So anybody after now is just getting, it's just, yeah. If more people LCQ in, then we might have some eliminations, but at this point they're racing. Awesome. I had much.
How late can you run the qualifying course?
How late? So this year, another new thing, we will have a message board, like a TV, at the opening thing, and it'll tell you the schedule. We've always been kind of in flux about that, and thank you for your patience, but there's a lot going on when it comes to keeping the course open. There's maintenance on it, there's safety, there's all of it, right? There's just my patience level, which as the week goes on tends to dwindle. But so we will have a message board that'll tell you the exact times that the short course is available. I'm asking for you guys, when we tell you that it's open and their yellow flag is up, don't be that guy or that girl that wants to go fast. If the yellow flag is up, it's for your time to go out and check out the course. It's not for your time to see how far you can jump down the jump champs jump. Make sense? Please? There'll be a pretty short leash for that. If you break the rules on the short course, you'll be done practicing on the short course. And if you continue to be that person, you'll probably be done for the week anyway.
And cut off time for the big race? 44?
Same as always, 8 a.m., 10 p.m. for the Nitto King of the Hammers, presented by Optima Batteries. I just spaced on him like 5 times. Anything else? You guys got anything? I think we're done. It is 9:04. We did it in 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Good time.
Thank you all for watching. Look forward to having a great event. Pick up your trash when you come out. Enjoy the show. Stay for Saturday night if you can. You're not going to be upset about the choices for music. I guarantee it. and have a great, safe time. Enjoy with your families and go home safe. Thank you very much. See you on the lake bed.
Thank you.